I want to go over animation montages real quick because it's a very powerful and useful tool once you understand when and how to use them, and a lot of people just entirely pass by the opportunities that it gives you. So let's take a quick look at what it can do. I'm here in my own game development project, and if I open up my player here, in my animation graph, I have this whole state machine here, but what we can do is we can add in a slot. And what that will do is, as long as there's nothing playing in this animation slot, nothing will happen. It'll be entirely fine. But the moment I start playing something in this slot, and we'll get into how we can actually trigger that in a second, it will override whatever is coming in from my state machine and just play this until this animation is over, at which time it will go back to whatever the state machine was playing. So this kind of thing is very useful for actions. If you have a character that has a grabbing animation because it needs to be able to grab items, if you have attacking animations, my current combat system doesn't use these, it probably should. All those kind of things, actions, magic spells, whatever you want to do, you probably want to use these slots for, because otherwise you end up with a system which has a billion different nodes in your animation graph here for things like your attacking system, or you make a very arbitrary weird system like I have. So you can see this slot is the default slot, and you can make slots yourself. Every animation graph comes with a default slot. Well, by default, you can make multiple slots if you want to have multiple of these overrides in a row or in different places in your animation graph. Now, let's actually make an animation montage and put that into one of these slots, shall we? So let's take my Sword Attack 3 here, and we can right click this and create a Anim Montage out of it. And I'll call this one Montage Player Attack 3. And as simply as that, we now have an animation montage that is literally just the animation itself, but it's in a montage, so it can now be played as a montage, which is quite good. This also, even though you don't see it here in the notifies, this also does play all the notifies on the actual sequence animation itself. So you can see here we have a handful of notifies that I use in my combat system. These will all get played in the montage as well, but we can add these montage specific notifies on top of this. So if we want to have, for instance, the same attacking animation, which does the same handful of notifies, but we want to have 3 or 4 different versions with maybe some slightly different code running on it or slightly different timings for those notifies, you can just make multiple montages. The other amazing thing here is that what we can do very, very easily is we can just simply drag in a second animation here. And now we have 2 of my animations back to back in this montage. So if you want to play 3 animations back to back, and actually as a matter of fact, let's just play all my Sword Attack animations back to back to back, right? You can see there's a little bit of dead space in these animations. That's just in general a good thing for me to know because I was not aware of that. So let's decrease the end time a little bit on this to see if that then makes it flow better together. Kind of does. There is no blending between though. So it doesn't blend between these different animations. You can't do that. You can't just like overlap them and have them blend or anything like that. Hopefully at some point in the future, Unreal will solve that, because that would be absolutely fantastic if we could do that. But now we have 3 animations that are separately made, and we can play them as one animation sequence back to back to back. And we can also say, maybe we want to actually play these attacks a little slower than they would usually go in this. And maybe this one we want to just keep at full speed. And maybe we want to loop this twice before doing the other. So you can see we have quite a bit of flexibility here in, I don't like the looping here, but you have quite a bit of flexibility in what you want to do with all these montage settings, right? So that's really, really kind of neat. Well, then we have the montage blending in and blending out, which is just what you expect it to be, going from whatever state is being put into the slot to whatever is being put out. When it starts, it takes 0.25 seconds now to blend in, and then 0.25 to blend out, going back into whatever it was doing before. Again, that is not blending between these animations, because that is just simply, to my knowledge, not possible, which is a real bummer. Now, we can see here that we have the montage group that this montage belongs inside, which if we open up the slot manager here, we can see that we have the option to add groups, which is just for organizing all your different slots, or just adding a new slot. So we can add a new slot and call it something like attacks. And now we have a slot for attacks, and we can set this existing slot with our animations inside of it to being in that slot. Sometimes it will T-pose if you just like mess around a little bit and just like try to drag these things around. It usually fixes itself. Now, back in our animation blueprint here, we'll change this from default slot to attack slot, because of course, whatever animation montage we are trying to play, whatever slot this is playing in needs to exist in our animation graph. So if this is the default slot and we're trying to play this in the attack slot, nothing is going to happen. And from here, we can very simply trigger this through our character's blueprint. We don't even need to trigger this through our animation blueprint. So if we open up wherever it might be, because I have very bad organization, don't look at my blueprints, please. If we open this up and we say something like the input event for the F, for instance, right? When we press that, we can play our anim montage. We can even say where it needs to start. So if we pass in the name of the section that we want to start with, we can even skip the first section. So that would be, for instance, if we want to start at player animation sword attack 1, we can start at that and skip the sword attack 3 if we wanted to. And we can select our animation montage here. The return value will be the length of the montage in seconds. It can be useful if you want to, for instance, like pause input for your character or something. You can just disable input, have a delay that's as long as your animation, and then re-enable your input. It's also nice to check whether or not the animation montage played to begin with, because if it fails to play for whatever reason, maybe you don't have a slot available that matches the slot of the montage or whatever, this return value will be 0. So you can simply check for this being greater than 0, and then you know whether or not the thing played to begin with. So now, if I press the F key, you will see it does all the 3 animations in a row, which is really kinda neat. And that is the basics of animation montages. It's really not that complicated, but it's a very powerful tool that, honestly, when I made my own combat system, I wasn't aware of how useful this was, so I didn't incorporate it. By the time I got around to making my enemies, however, I did incorporate it. So let's actually take a quick look just to show an example here of my basic enemy. If I go into that animation graph, you will see it has no state machine at all. Everything is just done through sheer logic here. And what it does is it has a walking and idle state. Then it goes into a attacking slot. So whenever there is any attack going on, the walking idle will get overridden. But then it will blend between the attack animation and a knockback animation whenever the knockback variable here is true. And whatever else happens at any point before here, when the character dies, the death animation will play, because that's the last thing that happens in this entire setup. So I have 2 different slots here, attacks and death. And frankly, you could also make a slot specifically for the knockback animation if you want to ensure that nothing that happens before here influences that. But in my case, I have 3 different knockback animations, so this setup ended up being slightly preferable. But this is the kind of thing where you can really see I'm using 2 different animation slots here to play different animation montages with different levels of priority. And a very big thank you to all of my Patreons. You can see them on screen right now. If you want to help out supporting the channel, there's a link down below in the description to the Patreon page. And a special thank you to Eleanor for supporting at the Cave Digger tier on Patreon.